Kimber, made by Fuds for Fuds, because you're a supporter of the Second Amendment, but let's talk about how the former VP of Kimber recently came out saying that he does not support constitutional carry and is in favor of restricting the rights of the people to keep and bear arms. Before we get going into it, I want to say thank you to everyone that supports this channel, whether it's through liking, commenting, and subscribing. Double check that you are subscribed. Something like 70% of you are not that watch these videos. YouTube has been doing a thing where people have been getting unsubscribed. If that's not the case and you just don't like me, that's fine as well. Also, I want to say thank you to everyone that supports through Subscribestar or by buying merch. Both excellent ways to support me. I really appreciate it. Let's get into it. Being pro-gun also means being pro-responsibility. We must oppose HB 102. Now, here's the deal. Obviously, with great power comes great responsibilities. You know, you're going to want to make sure that if you own a gun, you know how to operate it, you know how to take care of it, and you know how to be safe. That's just general common sense, but like anything, like owning a car, like owning knives, like having various chemicals underneath your sink, you're going to want to make sure that you are responsible if you want to prevent harm from yourself or others. Like so many Montanans, I grew up with a rifle in one hand and a shotgun in another. Now, this just definitely reads like as a gun owner, but he then goes on to talk about his 25 years in the firearm industry and going on to say that he was a finalist for Firearms Industry Person of the Year, which is the industry's highest honor, and then proceeds to mention that Bill Ruger also received this. Well, it makes sense that these two people would be mentioned in the same case because Bill Ruger was the epitome of a FUD. Bill Ruger, you know, yeah, great, probably designed some great guns. Ruger is a good company now. But Bill Ruger was openly in support of magazine capacity bans and assault weapon bans. HB 102 does away with this kind of common sense. Anybody that talks about common sense in the terms of gun control or gun rights truly doesn't know what they're talking about. Common sense is a way to, it's a scapegoat. It's a way of saying, hey, look, agree with me because anything else would be totally irrational. It's not actually making an argument, it's a cop-out for having a good argument. If enacted, people without any permit could carry concealed guns into bars and college campuses across our state. Yeah, you know, apparently the constitutionally protected right to keep and bear arms ends if the restaurant you're at also happens to be a bar, or it ends if you want to go pick up your kids from school, or if you just want to attend a class, because apparently going to school is something that would make you so incredibly irrationally violent that you would need to be vetted by the government and given a permission slip to do something that you could just do anyway without said permission slip. Now here's where I really love it. I am among the many Montanans who own and appreciate guns, but, right there, but, it's a I own guns but statement, so we automatically assume the rest of this is just going to be absolute garbage. I also know that citizens of our state understand we must also be advocates for responsibility. Those are two separate things. You can be pro-gun and be pro-individual responsibility. You can be pro-freedom and pro-individual responsibility for your actions. Deep down, all of us know that protecting our rights also means avoiding extremist policies that only increase the likelihood of bloodshed. Now, I really must have missed it because somewhere in the news I must not have seen that states with constitutional carry like Arizona are just a hotbed of violence and bloodshed. It truly is the Wild West. I must have missed where people having minor disputes about who gets the last Turbo Man action figure, or who gets the right parking spot on Black Friday. Who is it that gets those things is always settled by who's got the fastest draw and the most accurate hits. Because apparently, when you have the ability to carry a firearm, it immediately makes you violent. If you didn't get a permission slip before carrying your firearm for self-protection, you are truly one of the most dangerous people in the world. I honestly just don't get the obsession that many people, FUDs included, gun grabbers included, have with this idea of government permission slips, aka permits. Now, everyone thinks that, you know, permits are common sense, and it might seem like common sense, but when you think about it, what does a permit do? It adds a barrier of entry that someone that might be poor, someone that might not have, you know, the best ability or access or availability to fill out the requirements, do the required training on the days that the state offers and the state requires. When you add requirements in order to carry a firearm, all you're doing is keeping people that are good, honest, law-abiding citizens from carrying a gun. Because here's the deal, a criminal a dangerous person, a violent person, they will not be swayed by carrying a gun being illegal. Your local felons, your local gangbangers, the local meth heads, I assure you that they are not concerned about whether or not pocket carrying or keister carrying a gun in public is illegal. A bad person is going to do bad things if they so please. The only difference is a good person may choose to not carry because they either can't afford or just can't do the requirements. In the state of California, for example, the requirements to get a firearm can be very difficult. Some counties straight up will not allow you to get a firearm. And when you put this ability to give or take the rights of someone to keep and bear arms to the government, ultimately you get a point where whose choice is it? Who gets to decide? Are these people that get to decide morally right people? These are the questions that you have to deal with, because now you have a situation where good people are going to be affected by the ability or inability to legally carry a firearm, or they're going to have to choose to illegally carry a firearm and then potentially risk getting in trouble and ruining their life. Whereas the criminal who just wants to do bad things is never going to be affected by this such law. Constitutional carry is not and will not mean that there is going to be blood in the streets. The perfect FUD guns are truly made by some of the most FUD people. While this is not representative of Kimber's current establishment necessarily, it really just does go to show that just because someone's a gun owner, just because someone runs a gun company, does not mean that they are pro-2A or pro-rights of the people to keep and bear arms. Ultimately, I just want to hear what you guys think about this. It's kind of funny to see a former VP of such a big organization, of such a big company, speaking out against the Second Amendment. It's something that we've seen many times in the past, for example, Ruger and X products. And you know, whether or not you choose to support Kimber in the future, I don't know if this should be representative of whether or not you make that decision or not, but it's just something that I thought you should be aware of, because people like this, unfortunately, appear to have a lot of credibility. When someone like the former VP of a major firearms organization comes out and says that constitutional carry is a bad thing, it really does resonate with a lot of people, and they say, hey, look, that guy that's pretty big and important, he must represent all gun owners or most gun owners. And really, that's just not the case. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. Everyone, I want to say, before I go, I want to say thank you to everyone that's been stopping by over on the Twitch streams. At the time of this video going live, I probably will not be live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Reno May, but what I'm going to do in the future for a lot of my uploads is after I upload a video, at the same time, I'm going to be going live on Twitch, at which point we can kind of have more of a discussion. The reason I'm switching my live streams over to Twitch instead of YouTube for the most part is because YouTube won't let me touch a gun on a live stream. I can touch a gun, 10 hours straight. I can make a video of literally me just bump firing a gun on loop for 10 hours on YouTube. That's great. But if on a live stream I touch a real firearm, YouTube might end up kicking my channel off. They might give me a strike. It's going to be something that I just cannot risk, because on YouTube I kind of have to follow their rules, dance when they say dance, if I want to be able to keep making content and reaching people that aren't already gun owners or aren't already of the same opinion as you and I. So I'm going to be doing live streams on Twitch. I really appreciate everyone that stops by for those. It's great having a little way to communicate with you guys. YouTube has been deleting a lot of comments lately that it appears or it thinks is dangerous, harmful, or talking about things that they don't approve of. A lot of times lately what's been happening is I'll respond to a comment or try to respond to a comment. I get an error message saying that the comment cannot post, at which point I refresh it and the comment's gone. I truly doubt that many of you are deleting your comments as I'm replying to them. So yeah, Twitch has been a good way for me to kind of have a conversation. We've been getting to the point where it's kind of hard for me to respond or even see every single comment, which is great. I really appreciate all that. It's great seeing that you guys are having conversations on your own in the comment section, but the Twitch streams have been a great way for me to have that further conversation with a smaller group of people. So twitch.tv/Reno May, I might be live at the time that this goes live, but it's unlikely in the future. However, I will be going live over there a lot more. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all your support. Peace.